Hello YouTube, and welcome to yet another part of the modding tutorials series, and this is another part of the GUI series. And in this episode we are probably going to be looking at buttons. So in the last episode, as you recall, we drew to the screen, and just look what we did so I can remember and see what I'm going to do today. So okay, so we drew our little custom texture thing to the screen, but I'm just going to comment out this code, and just a little tip for you guys: if you want to comment out a big chunk like this, just a little coding tip, the easiest way is probably // at the beginning and then // at the end. And also another thing you can do, I may as well show you, if you put /** and then say we'll draw items to the screen //, the method that follows it, so this draw screen method, it will give a description. So if I was to make a new class, let's go here, that extended my GuiTest class, or rather if I were to go and here GuiTest. Okay, this might not work. Actually no, it won't work because it's not a static method. So what we could do here is just change this to a static method. Okay, never mind. So yeah, basically, oops, what did I do? Basically, I'll show you what it does with another class. Say I went modloader dot. Will this work? I don't know if this is gonna work. Right. Anyway, yeah, it just, when you go to call that method, it will give a little description of what you put there. Yeah, we'll just ignore that for now. So we're going to leave our default background here, just save that. I just updated on my Minecraft client, which is over to the right of my screen. You won't be able to see it at the moment. Yeah, what we're going to do, right, I'm going to show you two different, maybe a couple more ways that you can do this, but I need to sneeze, so I'll be right back. Right, this is the first way. So in your initialized GUI method, which we looked at a couple of episodes ago, you will type control list with a capital L dot add, then new GUI button for now, and this control list is, if we click on it in the GUI screen class, and it is, well, a list, an array list, and basically it will contain all your different buttons on that current screen. So if you want to get rid of the buttons, you will clear it and then rewrite them if you want to add the buttons, so to speak. Yeah. So the GUI button variable, we're going to use this top one, so add the methods, which takes what, five integers and one string. The first integer is the ID, so we're going to set this to 0. If you made another button, you set it to 1, etc., so on and so forth. You don't have to do them in order. You can do random numbers as long as they're not the same, otherwise they will do the same thing, and we'll see that later. Then the next variable is the position, so we're just going to do width divided by 2, take away 100. Then this is going to be height divided by 2, take away 10. Then this next one is going to be 200. Okay, for some reason tab isn't working. Then the next one is going to be 20. Then for the string, you basically put what you want to write on the button. So for this one, we're going to put back, without caps lock, back to game. Right, now if we save that and reopen our GUI, you won't be able to see this. Okay, for some reason it's not working. Oh, I know why. Because we have this thing. As I said in the last episode, this super.drawScreen will actually draw the button to the screen. So if you can see here, here's my Minecraft client and there's no button. If I take away this / and put it here instead, we get no errors, and if I bring this across, you can see we have a button that says back to game. Now I set this to 200, so it has a width of 200 pixels and it has a height of 20, and the coordinates that I set were exactly in the middle of the screen. If I click on this, it would do nothing. If I have my sound turned on, it would make the clicky sound, and as you can see, when you go over it, it's blue, and when you click it, it will do whatever you want to do and you click it, and also the text goes yellow. So that is how to create a button. Then the next thing we want to do, I think I covered this in a previous episode, but I'm going to cover it again. You do public void action performed, and that dog is annoying, I hope you can't hear that. Then this takes a GUI button variable, which we will call GB, and then you want to simply write an if statement, if gb.id equals 0. So, and do something. So if we go to this action performed thingy, or sorry, no, if we go to GUI button class, we can see that this par1 variable is equal to the ID. So if this ID variable is equal to 0, which we did set it here, it will do something. Now for now, what we can do is type system.out.println, and we're just going to put button plus gb.id. So basically what that will do is print out the word button, and then it will print the ID of the button, which should be 0. So now if we save that and restart it, you always have to restart your client if you make a new method or type or something, or new class. So if we open it up here, if we just keep it up here so we can see the console down here, and if you don't know the system.out.println, just print something out to this console down here. So now if we open it and press the button, you can see it says button 0. So however many times I press it, it will display it. And if I hold it, ignore that error. If I hold it, then it doesn't do it more than one time. That error is just because I haven't enabled the internet connection at this moment in time. Now, what we want to do is, to get back to the game, we do mc.display GUI screen, and then we put null. Now what this will do is the mc.display GUI screen will actually close down, or I'll just show you. So if I click back to game, it will close down all the GUI screens that are open and just go back to the default game. So say this, say the done will do the same thing. It will do mc. In fact, no, it won't. So if we press, actually I don't know if it'll work with this, but I presume if you press like cancel here, it will go back to this screen because we're not actually in the game. However, if we do it in game, it will deplete whatever GUIs. And a quick note, you can't have two GUIs open at one time, because that's how the system works. It opens when you run the mc.display GUI screen, it closes all GUI screens and then opens this one. So basically, clicking this is the same as what escape, pressing the escape button will do. So if we look at the superclass here, we can see mc.display screen GUI screen null from key types par1. You could do this, but for what we're doing, we don't need to. So there's many things you can do in here. Say for example, you had a variable, for example, a variable called private int, I don't know, amount, if I can spell. And then once we initialize the GUI, we want to set amount equal to 0. And then once we press this button, we want to do some simple math, and we want to do amount plus equals 11. Now the reason I do plus equals is because plus will error, because we are adding the two together, but it won't do anything, because it won't like display it. It's just gonna do nothing, so there's no point in doing that. Plus equals adds 11 to amount. Basically it pluses them together, and then amount is equal to that variable. So then we can go system dot. Oh no. We can do this if the button equals to 1. We can do if we make a new boolean, so private boolean in fact, no, forget that. We'll just do system dot out dot print line, like so, and it wants to print the amount. So if we make a new button called, say we set this one to add 11 and this one to display, and we change this to plus 10 and set the ID to 1. Save that, restart the client because we made this variable here. Now we'll just leave this size. Now if we click add 11, nothing will happen, but we know something has happened. If we click display, we can see our variable is now equal to 11. Add another 11, it is equal to 22. We can click this as many times and it will show us the result. Now if we escape and go back in and click display, it will be 0, because when we initialize the GUI we set the amount to 0. So that is basically how to add buttons. However, if you're using, say, pages in your GUI, like you have several pages that you want to flick through, you would want to add different buttons. Now the best way I found of doing this is making a new method called public void add buttons, then having a variable in there, say int page, and then you just go say if the page is equal to 0, then we're gonna add these two buttons, and if the page is equal to 1, then we're going to add this button and change it to add 21. Why not? Oh no. So we're going to just do this for now, and we want a new integer called page, and we're going to set this to page plus plus, and we're going to print out the page. Then this is going to be display page, and set that to 1. Display page, we're just going to write 2 so we can differentiate it. Then we're going to set the page equal to 0. Then basically what we want to do is, when you press the button and increase the page, we want to do buttons, no sorry, add buttons, then the page, and the exact same, in fact no, not the exact same for that. Right, so now if we save that, launch it, I'm just showing you the add buttons variable. You don't really need to pay too much attention to the page thing. I'll cover that in another tutorial properly. Okay, what we didn't do, okay. Yeah, what we also need to do is add the buttons at the start to equal page. So we're going to add the buttons, and as we set page to equal to 0, we're going to add the buttons and pass in that page variable, which will be 0. So then that will add these two buttons. Then when we click the change page button, it will increase the page variable, and then it will add the buttons for that the current page, which therefore is 1, and then it will display this. So pretty simple. So now if we do this, we can see we can display page and it's 0, change page, and I forgot to do one little thing. What I normally do is at the top here just do control list dot clear, and that will clear everything off the list, and then it will add them again afterwards. So as you could see, when I click change page, I still had the original buttons, but this way, when we click change page, you can see it just says display page 2 like we told it to, and then we can display page and it is equal to 1. Now you could obviously do a back button that has page minus minus, and if you're wondering, minus plus plus is also equal to plus equals 1. Yeah. Okay, my voice just went there. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's been quite a long episode, but I like to explain things, make sure you guys understand, so I don't have to like help you guys too much. Obviously I don't mind helping you and stuff like that, and sorry about the Steam message, but yeah, it's just easier if I get it done in this tutorial. So the next episode, I'm not sure what it will be, I'll think of it when I do it, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.